Sometimes it feels like the world's noise just never lets up. This is 10 Better Minutes, a quiet pause to look at stories from recent days that remind us things are more balanced than we often think. We will share moments of care and thoughtful action, like a new way families are staying close through difficult times and a large effort to protect the ocean without leaving behind the people who live by it. But first, I want to start with a story about a former fisherman who turned his attention to cleaning up the waters he once worked on. Sean Bath began with a simple, practical decision. He kept going from seeing trash underwater to doing something about it. A reformed fisherman, he founded the Clean Harbors Initiative in 2018, turning first-hand knowledge of Canadian harbors into organized action. At the start, he was pulled toward the work itself, collecting what he could, then asking a bigger question. What happens after a net or a piece of fishing equipment is lost, abandoned, or left behind? That curiosity became a plan. He fundraised to sponsor diving expeditions that cleared harbors, and he helped pull about 15,000 pounds of trash from the Bay Roberts Harbor. He wanted donors to understand the issue of ghost gear, not as a distant headline, but as something made possible by everyday choices. Then a documentary helped widen the circle. Hell or Clean Water premiered at the Toronto Hot Docs Festival in spring 2021, and more people stepped forward with donations. With that support, Bath and his team were able to hire more help and keep removing debris. He also adapted when conditions were not safe. He planned to dive in Long Harbor, but visibility was poor, so he shifted to beach cleaning at St. Croix. There, he reported collecting about 3 boatloads of plastics each day. In the end, the story feels like a steady invitation. Notice what is in your care, fix what you can reach, and let community support carry the work farther. When a baby needs weeks in the Nicu, distance can feel louder than any phone call, especially for brothers and sisters left at home. Still, some everyday kind of creativity can help everyone feel like they are part of the same story. 4 NICU nurses at Connecticut Children's Hospital built that bridge with a coloring book called A Message to My Sibling. Working with illustrator Sherry Linhow, they developed pages that fit different ages, with simple, reassuring explanations of common NICU equipment and plenty of space to color. More than that, the book includes places for older siblings to write messages or draw pictures, and it also offers artwork and notes that can be displayed in the NICU room so the baby can be greeted in a visible way. One nurse shared that families may travel long distances to visit their daughter Anna, who was born at 31 weeks and weighed 2 pounds and 13 ounces. In moments like those, the coloring book becomes a way to keep connection active, not just something parents try to arrange when they can finally get to the hospital. What I love most is how it trusts people to reach for each other gently. A few crayons, some paper, and honest words can turn separation into a shared rhythm of care, helping siblings feel included, understood, and close, even from afar. When a wildfire can take away the thing that keeps a ranch running day after day, the question becomes simple and heavy. Who shows up to make sure the herd still has a future? In Nebraska, one of the largest wildfires in the state history burned about 1,000 square miles of ranch land. And on Mike and Kayla Wince's 11,000-acre ranch, they lost every foot of grass. With that feed gone, their livelihood was suddenly on the edge, and every decision turned into a race against time and cost. That is where thousands of anonymous donors stepped forward with hay and disaster relief funds. They did not just send messages or prayers. They provided practical help, including gifting the Wince Ranch hay valued at $80,000. Support also moved through the Nebraska Cattlemen Disaster Relief Fund, and fuel costs did not get left behind. The South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation matched thousands of dollars to help transport that hay from across Midwestern states. And the reach of it matters. Donations came from across the United States, even as far away as South Carolina, showing up in someone else's moment of need. It reminds me That resilience is not only something ranchers build on their own. Sometimes it grows out of community, out of strangers choosing to be useful, and out of trust that help can travel farther than fear ever can. You know that uneasy feeling when something familiar is suddenly about to be changed by a work crew with a schedule to keep? This story is a reminder that a pause can be a kindness too. Ray and Shelley Remoult were just living near an empty lot by their home in Lockport when they noticed something unexpected. 2 adult killdeer were hanging around, and then Shelley spotted the nest with 4 speckled eggs. Construction was planned nearby, and they could see how quickly those eggs would be affected if digging started. So Ray took a careful, respectful step forward. He told the crew that the killdeer are federally protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty, and he and Shelley asked for the work to stop for about a month. To make sure they were not guessing, they phoned the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, and the confirmation came back quickly, including the need for a permit and the right process. Within a day, the site supervisor put up caution tape and cones around the nesting area. The company also postponed the scheduled dig date. Instead of steamrolling ahead, the crew made room for the eggs to hatch safely. What stays with me is how ordinary this all felt. A neighbor noticed, asked, verified, and then trusted that other people could respond with care. In the end, the lot waited, and life got its chance. Some days, protection for the natural world and the work of local people can move in the same direction. In French Polynesia, that balance is taking a clear shape. The French Polynesian government announced the Teitai Nui, a Hau marine protected area, setting aside fully protected ocean space across about 200,000 square miles near the Austral Marquesas and Western Society Islands. This is not just a broad promise, but a defined plan that grows into an expanded network of conserved waters totaling roughly 540,500 square miles. And at the center of the idea is a practical, people-first approach to how the ocean is used. Artisanal fishing continues, with restrictions in designated zones, including single pole and line catch from boats less than 12 meters long. Those limits matter because they help keep everyday livelihood tied to careful stewardship rather than extraction. In the Austral Islands, 3,088 square miles of artisanal fishing zones were added, and nearly 7,336 square miles were added around the Marquesas. The government also points toward a larger global target, protecting at least 30% of the ocean by 2030, often described as 30 by 30. When you hear numbers like 200,000 and 540,500, it can still feel intimate, almost hand-sized, because someone decided that care can be specific. Hope here is quiet and measurable. It is a plan that leaves room for both sea life and the people who know how to fish with restraint. As always, I have a helpful tip for you to support your mental reset and help you feel a little more open to joy. Today, we are talking about how a cleaner physical space can lower mental noise. Here's the simple idea. When your space is cluttered, your brain keeps noticing. It becomes like background static, quietly demanding attention even when you are trying to focus. But when you clear a small area, you are not just tidying. You are giving your mind fewer visual interruptions to process. Try this gently. Choose one surface you use daily, like your kitchen counter, bedside table, or desk. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Pick up items that do not belong there and put them where they actually live. Then wipe, straighten, or even just stack things in a way that makes sense to you. You are aiming for calm and clarity, not perfection. Notice what happens after. You might feel your thoughts slow down. You might find it easier to start a task, rest, or relax without that constant low-level searching. A cleaner space can become a quiet signal to your mind. This is safe to focus here. Start small today. One surface, one reset. Hey friends, we made it to the end of today's 10 Better Minutes episode. I hope the takeaway lands somewhere simple and steady, like a reminder that kindness and decency are still showing up in ordinary places, even when the noise feels louder. If you want a few more of these grounded bright spots to come back to, you can follow or subscribe, and new episodes are posted every day. And if you have a good news story link or a local positive moment you think more people should hear about, please share it in the comments. This is Ian Rhodes with 10 Better Minutes. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow.